So good day, our topic for today is Chapter 1, Introduction to Digital Signal Processing. Signal processing. So humans are the most advanced signal processor. So this includes speech, pattern recognition, and speech synthesis. So we encounter many types of signals in various applications. So we have here for electrical signals. This includes voltage, current, magnetic, and electric fields. For mechanical signals, we have velocity, force, displacement. For acoustic signals, we have sound and vibration. Other signals, this includes pressure and temperature. So, most real-world signals are analog. When we say analog, they are continuous in time and amplitude. Analog circuits process this signal using resistor, capacitor, inductor, amplifiers, and etc. So, one best example for this analog signal processing is audio processing in FM radios and yung mga video processing in traditional TV sets. So, that includes analog signal processing examples. Now, let's go to the limitations of analog signal processing. First is accuracy limitation due to component tolerance and undesired nonlinearities. Another limitation is repeatability. Here is limited due to the following reason. First is tolerance. Second is change in environmental conditions. So, ano nga ba yung mga change sa environmental conditions? So, yung change natin sa temperature and yung hindi constant na vibration. Another limitation is sensitivity to electric noise. Then, limited dynamic range for voltages and currents. So, this also includes the inflexibility to change, the difficulty of implementing certain operations. So, under this one, we have here the nonlinear operations and yung ating time-varying operations. So, last limitation for analog signal processing is difficulty of storing information. Excuse me. So, we have here the digital signal processing. It is represented by signal of sequence. So, I have here the reconstruction analog signal from process number. So, ito yung visual representation, the simplified version. So, from analog signal or AD, papunta siyang digital signal. Then, DSP, yung digital signal, babalik siya sa DA naman, papunta. Then, magiging analog signal. So, meron tayong 4 na points dito. The first one is the analog input to analog output. So, ang best example ng analog input to analog output is yung digital recording of music. So, the next, kapag meron naman tayong analog input and digital output. Ang best example naman dito is kapag gumagamit tayo ng mga devices like cellphone. So, maririnig natin yung touch tone ng phone dialing. Ayon yung example ng analog input to digital output. For digital input to analog output naman, ang best example nito is yung yung mga text-to-speech option sa ating mga device like sa laptop and sa cellphone. Then last is yung digital input to digital output. So, ito, ang example naman natin dito is yung pag-compress natin sa file sa ating mga personal devices or sa ating mga computer. Or ito yung di ba pagka nagzizip tayo, ibig sabihin nagko-compress tayo ng mga multiple files. So, yun, example yun siya ng digital input to digital output. So, here are the pros and cons of digital signal processing. So, for the pros, we have here the accuracy. We can control the accuracy, the repeatability, the sensitivity to electrical noises is minimal. Dynamic range can be controlled using floating point numbers. The flexibility can be achieved with software implementation. Non-linear and time-varying operations are easier to implement. So, here, the digital storage is also cheap, and the digital information can be encrypted for additional security. And last pro is yung kanyang price and yung kanyang performance, pati na rin yung reduced time to market. So, for the cons naman, we have sampling cost, yung paglolos ng information, which is tuwing nagtatransfer tayo ng mga files, hindi siya naiiwasan. Yung AD&DA requires ng mixed signal hardware. Then, third con is yung limited speed of processor. So, this means na kapag ang device mo is newer version or kunyari i9 yung laptop mo, so mas mabilis yung pag-transfer ng mga files or mas mabilis yung processor. Unlike kung i3 yan, so mas mabagal yung pagta-transfer and mas mabagal din yung processor. And last na con is yung quantization and yung round of error natin. So, ito naman yung mga applications for DSP. So, number 1 is yung ating filtering. Then, yung speech synthesis in which yung white noises natin, yung speech compression and expansion for use in radio voice communication, yung speech recognition, signal analysis, application din yun sa DSP, yung image processing, filtering, yung edge effect and enhancement, lahat yan is pasok sa application of DSP. Yung PCM na ginagamit natin sa telephone communication. And last is yung high-speed modem data communication natin. So, ito yung visual representation ni analog digital mixed signal processing. So, tingnan muna natin yung nasa left side, which is sa analog system. Pag sinabi nating analog system, ito ay continuous time signal and system. Yung analytical technique ang ginagamit kapag analog system. And analog electronics din yung kanyang ginagamit kapag analog system tayo. Paano naman kapag si digital system? So, nakikita natin sa right side, nandyan si digital system. Si digital system, gumagamit naman siya ng discrete time, signal, and system. Meron tayo ditong numerical technique and digital electronic. So, mas advanced siya since digital na yung electronic niya, unlike kay analog system na analog electronic. And mapapansin natin na merong interface na nasa gitna. Ang tawag nga dyan is yung interface system. Siya yung nagko-connect sa analog system papunta kay digital system, and si digital system kapag papunta naman siya kay analog system. So, ito yung mas detailed na digital signal processing. Ito yung nangyayari. So, una is analog input. E di magiging analog filter. ang analog filter is ang ginagawa niya is ina-avoid niya yung aliasing for sampling. So, after ng analog filter, meron tayong tinatawag na ADC or yung analog papunta kay digital converter. Then, yung nasa gitna is yung processor, which is yung ating computer, yung microprocessor, or yung ating microcontroller. So, next naman is yung DAC. Ito naman, si digital, papunta naman siya or i-convert naman siya into analog converter. Tapos, mag-output tayo ng signal. Then, magre-reconstruction tayo ng filter. So, after nun, magkakaroon tayo ng analog output. So, meron tayong tinatawag na representation ng discrete time signal. So, meron tayong 4 na type. Yung una is ito, yung graphical representation. Makikita natin sa baba yung visual representation ng itsura ng kung anong itsura ng graphical representation. So, yung pangalawang type naman is yung functional representation. So, mapapansin natin na nasa loob siya, yung mga values is nasa loob ng parenthesis. So, yun naman is for functional representation. Meron din tayong tinatawag na tabular representation. So, ang itsura ng tabular representation is naka-tab siya. So, may mga nakalagay din na numbers and values with respect to n and x parenthesis n. And yung pang-apat is ito, yung sequence representation, wherein yung signal is represented as sequence with time origin indicated by the symbol na arrow na pataas. So, ayan, naka-sequence siya. I-represent siya ng arrow na symbol na nakataas. So, ito naman yung discrete time signal and sequence. So, una, meron tayo ditong unit step sequence. So, ganyan yung magiging itsura niya. Ang itsura naman ni unit impulse sequence is itong nasa baba. Tapos, ayan naman yung graph niya. Si unit ramp sequence, ayan yung itsura ng graph niya, yung graphical representation niya din. So, for exponential sequence, yung form niya naman is yung real exponential. So, from mataas na line, pababa naman yung kanya. Meron din tayong tinatawag na sinusoidal signal. So, ang itsura niya naman is parang pa-wave na walang maayos na direction. So, ang pagkakaiba niya kay complex exponential signal, mapapansin natin na mas organized si exponential complex signal. Kasi kung ano yung wave sa taas, kapag nag-wave siya ulit pataas, yun pa rin yung height na ma-reach niya. Then, yun yung pagkakaano nila. Mas maayos si complex exponential signal. So, meron tayong tinatawag na classification of discrete time signals. So, number 1 is yung energy and power signals natin. So, ayan yung formula. Number 2 is a periodic and aperiodic signal. So, ito yung nasa left side, yan yung periodic sequence natin. While si right side, ayan naman yung aperiodic sequence. Then, provided na rin dito yung formula for discrete time signal if it is said to be periodic. So, nandiyan na rin yung formula. We also have the symmetric and asymmetric signals, yung causal and non-causal signals, and yung pang fifth is yung energy and power signal. So, Punta naman tayo sa linear constant coefficient difference equation. So, meron tayong tatlong method, different method, para ma-analyze natin yung behavior or yung response ng LTI system. So, yung number 1 is ito, yung direct solution of difference equation. So, provided naman na dito yung form or yung formula for that one. Yung pangalawa is yung discrete convolution. So, the output is convolution of input and impulse response. So, andyan na rin yung formula. And si Z-transform, yung pangatlong method sa pag-analyze ng behavior or ng response natin for LTI system. So, meron tayo ditong frequency domain, representation of discrete time, signal, and sequence. So, meron din tayong additional na method. Una is yung Fourier transform. Provided na dito yung mga simplified na formula. Then, meron din tayong discrete time Fourier series. So, nandito na rin yung formula kung paano mag-solve kapag kaganto yung given. So, ito naman, nilagay ko din dito yung properties ng DTFI para ma-familiarize kayo. Then, for application of Z-transform, meron tayong mga key points. So, dito rin yung Z-transform and region of convergence, wherein yung Z-transform ng discrete time signal na x parenthesis n is dinidenote natin by x parenthesis g. So, yung Z-transform, pwede natin siyang tawagin na bilateral or two-sided na Z-transform. So, for region of convergence, meron tayong mga properties of ROC or regions of convergence. Okay dito, yung una or yung number 1, yung ROC natin does not include any pole. So, property number 2 for regions of convergence, for right-sided signals, yung ROC natin, kailangan outside siya ng circle doon sa ating Z-plane. Pagka number 3 naman, para naman sa left side signals, yung ROC natin, kailangan naman inside ng circle doon sa ating Z-plane. So, number 4, for stability, yung ROC natin, kailangan mag-include siya ng unit circle sa Z-plane. So, for property 5, for both-sided signal, yung ROC natin should be ring sa Z-plane. And last, or yung pang-anim, ito is for finite duration signal, yung ROC natin is entire Z-plane. So, ayan yung 6 na properties of ROC. So, meron tayo ditong table ng sequence, kung ano yung transform niya, and kung ano yung ROC niya. So, nilagay ko to dito para kapag na-confuse kayo is makikita nyo na agad kung ano yung magiging transform and ano yung ROC niya para hindi kayo nalilito. So, ito, meron tayong signal. Sa signal, may continuous time signal. So, these are the function of real argument. So, ito, meron ditong x parenthesis t, wherein yung value ng t dito, pwede niyang i-take na any real value. Kapag naman x parenthesis t, pwede rin naman siya maging 0 kapag ka merong given range doon sa value ng letter t. So, we have here the discrete time signal. So, yung functions ng argument na to, is kinukuha or tinitake yung value from a discrete set, wherein yung x parenthesis n, yung value ng n is nanggaling siya sa discrete set na negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So, yung integer index n, instead dun sa time ng t, para sa discrete time system, ayan yung nangyayari. So, yung x dito, pwede siyang maging array ng mga value or pwede rin siyang maging multi-channel na signal. Then, yun, yung value for x, pwede siyang maging real or complex number. Ito yung discrete time signal natin. And as dun sa definition, yung continuous time signal natin is continuous of times, thus represented by continuous independent variable. While si discrete time signal naman, it is defined as discrete times. So, thus, yung independent variable niya ay nagkakaroon or merong discrete value. So, si analog signal are those for which parehong time and amplitude ay continuous. While kapag digital signal, yung kanilang parehong time and amplitude naman ay nakapaloob as discrete. So, ito yung analog versus digital. So, ayan yung amplitude ng analog signal, while ito namang nasa baba is yung amplitude ng digital signal. So, 'di ba, kapag yung amplitude ng digital signal, yung value niya is nanggagaling sa discrete set. While si amplitude ng analog signal, any real or complex value na nakapaloob dun sa time and sample. So, ito, periodic uniform sampling. Nilagay ko na yung formula, wherein yung t dito, siya yung sampling period in second. So, ibig sabihin, pag nakita nyo sa given na naka-hour, naka-minute, i-convert nyo muna into second. So, dito naman sa f of s, yung 1, i-divide natin siya sa nakuha nating sampling period na nasa second. So, ayun, i-solve nyo lang siya using the formula. Ito naman yung periodic sampling natin. So, mapapansin natin dito, may tatlong kulay. So, yung color green dyan, yan yung kanina na nakita natin. Ito, yung amplitude ng digital signal. While yung itong dalawang color, yung red and blue, yan naman yung sa analog. Ito yun. Sa analog signal. Ito yung representation of sampling. So, ito yung dalawang stages. So, una is, yung first stage is yung impulse train modulator. Then, yung pangalawang stage naman is yung pag-convert ng impulse train to a sequence. So, ayan yun, yung dalawang representation ng stages sa sampling. Ito yung unit sampling. Yung role niya is parang katulad ng discrete time sequence, and yung system para namang katulad sa Dirac delta function na merong continuous time signal. Si impulse function, ito naman siya, yung pwede natin siyang tawagin as Dirac delta function. Ginagamit siya to represent quantities that are highly localized in space. So, ang example nito, yung point optical sources and yung mga electrical charges. So, ito yung meron tayong tinatawag na shifting property when it comes to impulse function. So, ito naman yung itsura ng graphical representation. Ito naman yung itsura ng sampling operation. Yan yung itsura niya. Ito naman ang itsura ng unit step sequence. So, then, ito, yung exponential sequence. Then, geometric series. Ito naman yung conversion or yung form niya kapag ka magsasolve. Ito yung sinusoidal sequence, yung kanina. Ito naman kapag ka yung sequence ng dalawang scaled na may delayed impulses. So, ayan yung magiging itsura ng graph niya. So, last is yung sequence operation. Andito, gumagamit tayo ng multiplication of sequence by number. Nadidefine natin siya as multiplication of each sample value by this number. So, ayun yung combination of basic sequence. So, ayan yon yung example. Then, ayun, ito na yung end ng lecture natin sa ating introduction ng DSP or ng Digital Signal Processing.